NatureServe Explorer is the online guide to more than 100,000 species and ecosystems of the Western Hemisphere. Its search engine accesses the International Vegetation Classification, or IVC, which provides the definitive descriptions of ecosystems and their dominant and characteristic species. These descriptions are thus useful to organic producers, certifiers, and inspectors, both for determining the identity of native ecosystems that may be present at a specific site, as well as for identifying the dominant and characteristic species to target in monitoring efforts required under the native ecosystem rule. In this example, we'll use Explorer to obtain a description of the ecosystem at a site in Baja California, where field observations by an inspector indicate a native ecosystem may have recently been converted to organic agriculture. Explorer is found at the address shown in the bar, explorer.natureserve.org, and the search engine is fairly intuitive to use. The two sliders to the left of the search bar direct the search engine to look for species, ecosystems, or both. And to simplify the search results here, we'll use the sliders to turn off species and search only for ecosystems. Likewise, the location tab below the search bar can be used to filter the search by region, country, state, or province according to what boxes the user checks. For the moment, we'll leave the location field blank, and we will simply type in Magdalena Oracus Desert Scrub, which is the name of the ecosystem obtained in a companion video when we looked up this site on the ecosystems map in Databasin. The results appear below the search engine. And in this case, because we entered the precise and full name of the ecosystem, only one matching record comes up. But it's important to note that multiple records may come up in the results when only a partial name or a keyword are entered in the search engine. And in a procedure that will seem familiar to this audience, we can verify that this is indeed the correct description and not one for another ecosystem with a similar sounding name, because both the unique identifier CES 302-739 and the EVT code 10612 precisely match those obtained when we queried this site in Databasin. You can think of these numbers as an audit trail for ecosystems. The description itself starts with an overall summary, followed by sections on the floristics, the environment, the dynamic processes, which are characteristics of the landscape that sustain the ecosystem, and so forth. Under the classification section down at the bottom, the application helpfully provides a list of similar ecosystems that might be confused with or misidentified as the subject ecosystem. In this case, Magdalena Plain Desert Scrub is listed as a similar type, and its record would have also come up in the search results if we had entered only Magdalena as the keyword in the search engine. Both the general summary at the top and the floristic summary a little ways down identify several species commonly found in this ecosystem. For our purposes, these represent the dominant and characteristic species, of which there are close to a dozen to choose from, which suggests in turn a diverse ecosystem not dominated by any one or two any one or two species, but by a group of species. Species names are given as scientific names, which will probably seem like Greek or more accurately Latin to many users. But fear not, Explorer allows you to translate these scientific names into common names that biologists are more likely to be familiar with simply by entering the scientific name into the search bar. And you can see here we've entered Parkinsonia microphylla, one of the species listed in the floristic summary, and it's the botanical name for little leaf palo verde, a desert shrub that may be familiar to residents of the southwestern US and Mexico. You can also do this using almost any internet search engine. Explorer's search engine can also be used to generate a list of the native ecosystems recognized within a given state or province. This is accomplished by using the location filters we mentioned earlier. And we'll show how that's done here. We'll go back to search, and then without entering any particular name, we'll just simply pick a state, and we'll pick Indiana because it's a small state with relatively fewer native ecosystems than the large biodiverse states or countries like California or Mexico. And once the target area is selected, the search engine does the rest, creating a list of ecosystems that appears below. And the search of Indiana turned up, oh, we forgot to do something here. We need to turn off species. That will simplify things greatly. And then the list turns up 294 records of ecosystems in the state of Indiana. And those range from the highest level in the IVC classification, namely divisions, to the lowest level of ecological systems. And the green buttons that appear at the top of this long list allow the results to be further filtered by type. For example, if we just click on ecological systems, that shrinks the results to 32 ecological systems found in the state. Among them, the beech maple forest that we encountered earlier in another video. Results can be filtered even further using the classification tab in the search engine. So if we go back up here and open classification, let's say we're just interested in forested types of ecosystems. If you click on forest and woodland, that shrinks the results significantly down to 17 ecological systems that have some form of forest on them. This type of search by location could be useful to an applicant, certifier, or inspector who is simply trying to get a sense of what ecosystems might be present at a site in the absence of more definitive data.